AEW Fight man. This will probably be my last video on the game. I mean, I have a few ideas on stuff to cover. I could do creator rest videos, especially when many people do them, but that's for a reason, because there was obviously for limited creation suite. But I could do that, and I might show a short video just showing off a barbed wire deathmatch glitch to escape the ring, because I don't think anyone's posted about this one method, which I won't get into here, but I don't think anyone's posted about it on YouTube at least. So there's some little stuff to do, but in terms of commentary, in terms of giving thoughts and stuff, there's not really anything left to cover. So I figured, with there not being anything left to cover, I'll just give the final verdict on the game, I guess. And there are so many videos on this, and there's so many videos like this that were made before the content was even done. There's still seasons to go. People just had no faith in this. People didn't even expect there'd be a season 2. I didn't think there'd be one, personally. And then I was also surprised to see season 3. Season 4 was expected. It was confirmed alongside season 3. And that's sort of why we kind of immediately didn't expect season 5. Because there was no word on it. Season 5. And then Jay White dropped. And then nothing. And now it's coming to the end of August. Still nothing. And they've added a DLC pack literally every month since release, to my knowledge. So the cycle breaking, I think they're done. With DLC at least. They could do a final patch, because I mean, I will even cover in this video. There are some weird stuff left over, because you've been adding content without patches, so stuff is just bound to break. So I feel like not doing a final patch after all the content's done would be questionable. I mean, we literally have the season 4 title screen, and also like loading screens change for seasons, which is a shame. And I mean, it's cool, but it's a shame that you can't go back to old ones and old title screens, because this one's, you know, season 2 is cool. This is an example going of all the ones are cool. It's just going to be weird if you drop the game and like it's permanently left on season 4. And I mean, Stadium Stam, he's been locked to season 2 for a while, which is weird, because they never actually updated it. All they did was like change like the graphics on the world, like update the advertisements for some reason. So it was showing stuff like Wrestle Dream and like the 2023 Full Gear card, like MJF as Jay White is one of the photos and stuff, and you know, there's like Willow on one of the trucks. They updated stuff like that, and that was it. They didn't do any gameplay changes. They bothered to change that, even though it's covering stuff not even in the game, nor planned to be in the game, with the exception of Jay White. And they just sort of left it. They called it season 2. And I think they did that change either before or after season 2 itself happened, so it wasn't even alongside season 2. So it's not like the stadium seasons were meant to coincide with the main game seasons, but at the same time, season 2 changed nothing. So I don't know why Stadium Stam did seasons anyway. There's a lot of weird stuff with the whole menu stuff, and that's something I'd like changing the final patch, even though it, I guess, doesn't really matter, but it is just a weird feeling being stuck on the season 4 theme, where like it promotes all the new stuff with the season, like how season 3 would promote all the season 3 characters. This version just promotes the season 4 ones and whatnot, with loading screens and all that. So it's something that feels outdated, because obviously it's not new anymore. So if they do a final update, I'd appreciate if they just gave like a general title screen and different line screens, or just give you the option to choose the season theme, I guess. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's just something I find odd, and I feel I cover it first because it starts with the main menu. Which, funny enough, if you're a Switch player, you know, since season 3, the last time they even did a patch, I think, it was alongside season 3's launch, they completely broke getting into the game, connecting to the online servers specifically. on Switch. So if you're a Switch player, you've probably encountered it numerous times and it hasn't been patched, and if they don't do a final update, it will never get patched. Basically, whenever you go to the main menu, you press start, you normally crash right after. And this is specifically done when it tries connecting to the servers. I don't know why. You can connect to the servers, it's just trial by error to not have the game crash. But you can turn on flight mode. That's probably the quickest way to turn on flight mode. Get in the game because you're not connecting to the servers, and then just turn it off or whatever. Unless obviously you're trying to play online, but Switch Online has been dead for well over a year now. I got the game like less than a month after it released, and it was already pretty much dead by the time I got my hands on it. So it has not been live for a while, which is a shame. That's also why stuff like Same Stand V just flopped, and I like that mode. So it's quite unfortunate, because I do think this is quite a fun game online. I even done some private matches with a friend the other month, and yeah, it's fun. It's just no one plays it, and I guess that's because they did this ranked focus, so people was just using ridiculous cheese strats, which are in any wrestling game. But like the core game of this game felt suited for more online focus, especially when it doesn't have much single player content anyway. Now, personally, I don't really care about multiplayer, at least online multiplayer in a wrestling game much. But this one felt like it would have worked, and when I've had a chance to play it, it does work. It's just there's not the player base to support it, and even when they changed up like to have quick play, just nothing. And I mean, I think the last time to really have an opportunity to play online was when they dropped Jay Wyatt, and yeah, that was probably it. So, I think this video is going to be a whole ramble of stuff because there's just so many general things to discuss about the game and the current state of stuff and just general thoughts on how the game handled things. But yeah, the season system, the pattern worked, but it was weird. It felt detached in some way. Because it was like a season system as if it were a live service game, but it's not, and the seasons were just dictated by a DLC pack. But it would also change the menus and the loading screens. So that's a weird thing. But yeah, basically we're stuck on this. And yeah, how do I even do that online tangent? Oh yeah, the glitch. The glitch with the menu. So yeah, turn on flight mode and then you bypass it. Even when you go on the main menu, you press the connect the server button. It still can crash. It's just the initial connecting that can crash the game. So yeah, be wary of that. Again, just don't connect at all unless you're trying to play online. So there's a workaround, but it is a ridiculous glitch that no one are going to realise how to avoid. And I assume it's on Switch only, maybe on other versions. But yeah, that's something that's in the game. There's a few glitches that sort of cropped up with the last few content add-ons. Another one here on the main menu. They foreseeable decided to make it so when you first load in, it will show you the DLC you haven't unlocked yet. And I don't know if this is only on Switch or what, but the Limitless Bunny pack with Keith Lee and the Bunny, they will just show up. And I own the DLC. Right, I own it. I'm pretty sure I've uninstalled and reinstalled the game before because of the crashing glitch. I thought maybe that will resolve it. So there's just no way to prevent it. Again, doesn't really matter, but it is just it bugs me. It's noticeable, and there's no workaround for it. It's done, but yeah. Fortunately, the game hasn't really been left anything, any glitches that are really damning to the game, and there's a lot of glitches for gameplay purposes that are actually useful, like the barbed wire deathmatch, getting out the ring and stuff like that. That stuff was never patched, which is cool because if it was 2K, they would have patched that immediately because they're dickheads like that. So luckily I haven't done stuff like that. there's some issues I'll cover. There's also a removal thing that was intentional. I'll get into that when I talk about creation stuff. While I'm on the menu, I'll give some general thoughts on the game. And if you don't know, I like this game a lot. So this is why this video is going to be a bit different, besides just me giving a very unorganized ramble about things in this game. I have very different takes on this than the average YouTuber or social media fucking dickhead who just say, "Oh, game bad, no content, game sucks," and the content situation is bad. I'll get into that, but the game's rad. The game fucking rules. I think the core gameplay is the best of any wrestling game. It's simultaneously the game that has some of the shallowest content in a wrestling game, right, from the past 2 or 3 decades. Like, genuinely, it is quite unfortunate. And I think the DLC did help a lot, but it didn't address core issues. I quite like the DLC. Of course, it's a whole pricing thing. You can get like a complete bundle for like £40, I think, and I think that's alright-ish. I think that's fair enough for like however many DLC characters you get. 16, I think. And then all the other goodies and whatnot. I think that's a good price. I obviously bought the packs when they came out. And yeah, I got my money's worth. Because I got 1,100 fucking hours out of it. And I'm getting more hours still. I've always been able to make my own fun with wrestling games, really. So it's been harder with this one because of the lack of content, and the gameplay has a lot of bullshit that just makes trying to simulate lengthy matches difficult with the bullshit pin system and the overly strict health / momentum system. And they're both kind of fucked because you lose health too quickly, and the momentum thing, it's just kind of inconsistent, and it will just lock you out kicking out sometimes. Because how I kick out of circuits and mashing thing, I use a turbo controller. So I know that it's physically impossible to kick out because I can have that turbo controller on all 4 buttons and never kick out in some situations, right? So that is annoying. That is a gameplay noise. Again, there's a lack of focus on quality of life to the gameplay and stuff, but even then, I think it's still like the funnest I've had of a wrestling game with the core gameplay. It is so fluent. There's so many cool animations. There's a lot of interactivity with the environment, which I appreciate. I don't think it's on the level of like SVR Ultimate Control grapples, but there's a lot of cool stuff like you strike someone into an apron, they'll bring post the stairs, and has animations for all that stuff. And that's always fun. That never get bored of suplexing someone through the guardrails. I wish there was a little more interactivity. Like, I wish you could go off the stage. I feel like that's sort of a quite an outdated thing to not have that as an option, because you don't need to put anything out there. Just let you fall off and climb back up. That's all you really need to add. And then you've got a bunch of spots you can do that. But at the very least for the stage, you can break through the Tron for like the screen thing. So that is interactivity, which I think is important, because a lot of old wrestling games, there's just no incentive to going up the ramp. You can, it doesn't block you off, but there's nothing to do there. This at the very least has the stage interactivity, which is small, but it's something. I don't think I could have done more there. But besides that, I think the arena interactivity is pretty spot on. At least for ringside. And yeah, just covering content. Of course, got the tournament mode here, which I'll be so down to say it kind of added a new match type. And you look here, countouts are off in tournament matches, I guess, because they don't want to draw, because that wouldn't make sense then. So the easy cop out was to just disable countouts in the tournament matches, which is a unique factor. that does change the game, the core gameplay. How I'd actually recommend it if you're trying to do longer matches. I mean, that's one glitch. I don't have an example to give, but I know the referee doing countouts just stopped being consistent at one point. And I don't even mind that happening, because if the ref just stops counting out, then that's fine by me. I'll do some more spots on the outside of the ring. So I don't really mind that, but that is a glitch that does exist anyway. Just randomly, Aubrey or Rick Knox will just stop counting the countouts. But yeah, here just disables countouts, which again you can't really access outside this because they don't have basic like match rule sliders, which is a thing in files that they just removed. Don't know why. Never added it in. Again, it just a lot of dumb decisions. The game does a lot of unnecessarily restrictive stuff for this arcadey style silly game. That shouldn't have these restrictions. There should be that level of freedom. Create a moveset. It's pretty fantastic in this game, especially for first time. There's a lot of moves there. The DLC had like 100 extra moves. And there's a lot of good stuff there. But a lot of moves are just locked to being finishers or signatures only, or weak or only strong grapples. And it's like, I don't give a fuck. Just let me assign whatever moves I want. You know, that is something that annoys me, because there's a very large chunk of stuff that is only finisher or signature only. I don't know why, because you just had those options not restricted that way. That would have been helpful, because that would have given you access to a lot more moves. I think there's still enough for sure in just regular stuff, but you'll notice a lot of wrestlers have the same sort of grapples. Weak grapples especially, you're limited in options there. And it just feels unnecessary. It doesn't ruin the game. Every moveset still feels quite distinct in this game, more so than WWE games, I'd argue. But it is very restrictive, which for a game that is doing less in the competition, you shouldn't be putting those restrictions up. You have this content in the game, you should make it as accessible as possible. Another limitation that they just never changed, they have an entire menu on the stats thing, which by most of the stats just don't work. They fixed the main stat pages, but also it's like months later, so it's months behind on the stats it's tracking. So even if it is fully working, which I'm still not 100% sure it is, it doesn't matter because it's not up to speed. And also, I mean, like when you have those name tag, like the things when they make their entrance, you got like on the cars, the information stuff. A lot of it's just wrong. The most infamous one is the one that just counts a bunch of days since the last match, which is because the counter is broken. It just sets to how many days are in like 2000 whatever years, and it counts up from that. I don't know how they broke that so badly. And that's not the only one. That's just the most obvious example. I don't need to show examples because you've played the game or you've even seen gameplay. You'll probably have noticed it. I don't need to find a screenshot of it. They never fixed a lot of stuff. How I don't even trust the win-loss records half the time. Because I don't need to track stuff sometimes. It's just a shame because it's like this is very in-depth amount of information they've given, and none of it's really accurate, so it feels like a waste. Again, it doesn't really affect the game, but there's a lack of quality there. So that's something that definitely bugs me. It is funny, mind you, but it is dumb, and it's like, how do you mess up something so basic? Right, that's like basic coding. I could do that, right? It's maths. Just programming a system to do maths. Like, how they never fixed any of it when it was so glaringly obviously wrong. It's quite funny. But yeah, this restriction I'm on about with these stats, the rest of the stats, like their strengths, and finisher, signature slots, And also, other skills. God, the quality of these images are poor. I'm sorry. I don't know how that happened. Action skills, passive skills. There is a whole page that shows this for your creator wrestlers and your AEW wrestlers, and you can't change a damn thing. Why is it even an option to view all this if there's not an editor? There's not even DLC for an editor. I'd at least give me the option to fucking shell out money to do this. Why is it completely locked from the game? I don't get it. I don't get the restriction. But when you have an entire menu that you think would be dedicated to changing these stats, a lot of them are wrong. Like Swerve Strickland doesn't have quick jump or whatever it's called. The one where you like get up to the top rope in one leap. I'm sure there's other stuff. I don't get why you limited that. Maybe for online balancing, but online's not balanced at all, and no one plays it. So why would it matter? What especially pissed me off is you could have at least by default had everyone's finish and signature slots filled out, so that if you want to edit the moveset, you can add up to 5 signatures and finishes. A big appeal to the movesets in this game is that you have that many options, and it's not available for most of them. I think Kenny's like the only one who has like 5 slots for something for his finishes or signatures, one or two. And as long as it's just your creator as if you give him that many slots, which feels so wasteful. It's such a good signature and finisher system, and they completely bottled it by that limitation. Cody Rhodes in this game has like 5 Cody Cutter animations. Right, like perfect. I can assign all of them as extra signatures, so he can do the Cody Cutter from like the top rope, diving from the apron springboard, and in the ring springboard, whatever. But no, he only has 2 signature slots. Like, fucking why? Well, why would you do that? Why is it not assigned by default? They're all made for him, and they don't conflict because they're dives from different spots, and he just doesn't have that option, and they never changed it. It's so fucking annoying. Other locked stuff, he has a suit attire that's just not accessible. Why? I don't know. It's just a lot of restrictions for no reason, and it does somewhat harm the game. Because there's no point to have them restricted, and if you gave me the option to customize all the stuff, there'd be a lot more replay value and just a lot more freedom to do stuff with the movesets, add more finishes, add more signatures, just change stats entirely. Right? Like I don't know why you locked that. That'd be such a great feature, so simple to add. And you just didn't do it. Like at least for the creator wrestler, let us do that. But no, to get your stats up for your creator wrestler, you have to go from road to elite mode. You have to replay that for the 100th time, and then you gotta earn the points to level up the stats. Grind through that for a few hours. And then if you exit Road to Elite, then you can't change it again. And if you restart Road to Elite to add on some more points, it just resets their stats. It is such a ridiculously outdated system, right? It doesn't get people to play the game more. It does for me because I'm a fucking psychopath. But the average gamer, they're just not going to interact with this feature because you made it so grindy with little reward with your already limited creation suite. Nobody's going to waste time with that. It is quite dumb. And trust me, I know I've made over 50 calls now. The good thing is it's actually 100 wrestler slots, which is surprising with how limited it is. And then you have like 5 attires. That is good. That is a lot of slots there. You're not really going to run out. And I've had to come up with a lot of workarounds. In some cases, I will just have to do a playthrough to get the stats I want. But in other cases, I will just copy and paste the previous wrestler's stats if it aligns with another's close enough. Sometimes it's quite perfect. It's quite convenient. Another thing, I did say they hadn't patched any actual useful glitches, but I'll take that back because you used to be able to turn the surname for the creators into just a spacebar to remove it. They took that out, but then didn't add the feature to have no surname. Dumb. Now, if you still have a core, which fortunately I do, but it's my Panico core, who has very little stats, then you can copy them and use that. Which fortunately I do have one for a woman, one for a man. So I luckily I haven't been fucked over by that necessarily. But that is another dumb restriction that there was at least an unintentional workaround for, and then they removed the workaround but didn't get rid of the restriction. Like, what the fuck? I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, I've hated a lot of creator wrestlers, done pretty much a bunch of times. It must have been a few hundred hours at least, and my playtime has gone into the creator wrestlers. Like, they do take time. The shortest time is actually designing them, which that's definitely meant to be the longest time. The stuff that takes the longest is making a moveset or just getting the stats for your moveset. Those are the two that are the longest processes. And even this game is like a good creative entrance because it doesn't do full motions, which I've seen people complain about. But the game doesn't need that. It really doesn't need that, and it allows for more motions. And you've got like the interactive pyro, and because it's short, I don't really skip them much. So I actually think the entrances are really cool in this game. I think that's something they did very well. There's a lot of stage props. You can change the hand gestures. It is so good. Like, it is really in depth because, of course, it's not full entrance motions. And I hope they keep that. I don't want to do full entrance motions because that's just a waste of animation time. Like, you don't need to do that, and then you're going to end up limiting your options in the entrance. Like, I couldn't give two tosses if I see Chris Jericho walk down the ramp or not. Like, I just want to see him come out for a few seconds. That's all I need. And on that note, Engine videos, Season 4 changed some reward in this first Stricken DLC, of course, his entrance video. And it's like, they updated it, but they updated it over his Mogul Embassy one, even though his attire is his Mogul Embassy one. And then they didn't add Mogul Embassy entrance video as a separate video. Why? You have faction entrance videos for several factions. Why would you remove that? I'd say borderline, but it literally is false advertisement to just replace that. The only reason no one's really called it out is because this game's dead as fuck, so no one really cares. But that really pissed me off because I had my Mogul Embassy faction, going to a tag team, and they've just got like the fucking Swerve Strickland, like, colourful comic book theme instead of the Mogul Embassy logo. Why would you change that? It doesn't even fit Swerve because this DLC version of Swerve is the Mogul Embassy one. It's cool that you added it, but you replace over an entrance video that you could have had a separate one. And also, the original one just fit more scenarios anyway, coming up with factions, and it just fits Swerve himself better. Like, very pointless. And hell, a lot of wrestlers have multiple Trons anyway. But yeah, this one was actually a faction entrance, and this is his actual entrance video. Why? And also, it just highlights another thing. Any DLC still, of course, it's like the epic rarity, which, by the way, the rarity thing is so pointless. The only stuff that is marked with a rarity is stuff that was in the item shop, which isn't much, and they never added stuff to the item shop. Any extra stuff was either DLC or free content, never put in the shop to be unlocked with the cash, which feels like a waste. That stuff had a rarity, that's why the rarity system exists. They just haven't really added on to it. So this basically left, there's a few stuff with like uncommon rarities and stuff, and that's just stuff you unlock with the money, the cash, the in-game cash, and then what costs real money, the DLC, that was just epic rarity. And that's all under new. And every time you reopen the game, it classes every bit of DLC as new. And it's always been like that, and they never fixed it. I don't even mind it because it actually kind of helps, because it at least use its own section. They don't section stuff properly. There's a search option, but the only thing you can do, you can't search by name, but you can, like in Creamy City, you can't even search by like the move type or anything. But what you can do, is search for the rarity when there's like only epic moves or the regular moves, which are common, I guess. The only ones that have a different rarity are FTR, who have blue rarity moves for some reason. And that's it. That's the only distinction. Pointless. Points, again, it's small, but it's pointless. It's something that just feels outdated. I mean, it's functionally doesn't do its job. It should have been changed a long time ago, and leaving the game like this does create an unfinished feel, unfortunately. The actual career stuff, they one of the trunks, because they added new trunk stuff, which are basically just the repeats of stuff that was already in game, but there's like a different color option for it now. You could like fully color everything instead of just one part, or there were 2 parts to color instead of 1, which was a good addition. That actually helped quite a lot. That's probably the most significant change they made to the creator wrestler thing. But when they did that, one of the Trunks original version just it broke. It just clips through stuff, but you can just use the other newer version. So again, not really much of an issue. There's knee pads as well that you can't color both of them if you have both equipped. What you have to keep it the default color. If you change the other color, vendors way see from this video here on JD Drake Core, you see the weird like grey and the white bit. Yeah, that's just what happens. It's meant to be like the darkest black color, and it just does that. That knee pad version, the right, no, that's the left one. Sorry. That also you can't use with certain boots, even though the opposite one of the same knee pad can be used. It's weird, and they never fixed it, and they probably never will. Again, I made bug reports for this stuff, right? So, it's known stuff to them if they fucking read that stuff. But yeah, it is done. Like, the creation suite's limited enough as is. Why I've done this. Another thing which is intentional, but I don't know why it's this way. Headwear. Only in the ring, not in entrance. You can't have headwear that's only in the entrance attire, which makes no sense, because you can have tops. You can have tops and then bring to the in-ring attire, which actually gives quite a lot of extra options. Jackets, entrance only, but that's fair enough, I suppose. And then there's like a casual wear section, which is only for Road to Elite cutscenes, so I normally don't really customize it. And that just has no limitations at all. And you even wrestle a match in Road to Elite in your casual wear attire. So really there should be no limitations there. So they had this limited creation suite, and then there were more restrictions. Again, this is sort of my pet peeve of the game, is that it just restricts a bunch of stuff for no reason. And you got the actual content of the game, which they never added any extra match types. They didn't add any match rule changes, except I suppose you can have regular matches with count out off. That is the bare minimum. And even that felt like a big thing. Like a tournament thing is pretty big. And even that's paid DLC for a tournament mode. And it's the most bare bones tournament mode I've seen of any wrestling game that bothers to include it. It's nice to have, because a lot of games just exclude a tournament mode. But it is bare bones. You can have 4 or 8 options. There's a tag team option. In tag team, there's not even an option to play as both members of a team. You can only select one in a team. I don't know why. And they probably won't change that. I assume that's not intentional. So I guess I just have Bugs DLC. Like, cheers. That's great quality assurance. Again, it is quite messy. Frankly, the 2K games are much buggier. Wrestling games just be like this, but it is quite basic stuff that's broken here. Or stuff that's just restricted intentionally for literally no reason. There is no justifiable reason for it. And that's just what bothers me a lot. What bothers me more is the lack of match types. People talk about the content issues all the time. People want like extra game modes. I don't think you need that, right? But again, that's just me because I make my own fun doing exhibition, making my own stories. I have a Google Doc and I track stuff. I'm on week 3 of month 11 of fucking year 1, and I'm not stopping. That's how I've got my replay value. That's how I have 1,100 hours and counting. That's why I keep making creator wrestlers. That's why I still play the game, right? I can do that. And despite limitations, the core gameplay is so good, it's so addictive, that I choose to play this game over others. Currently. Again, a testament to the gameplay. But it makes me keep playing it. Despite all its fundamental issues, right? Like, the thing this game is, its flaws are quite objective. Right, because the main thing is just lack of content and a few broken stuff I mentioned there. But even then, that's small. That is minor. It just bugs me specifically, and most people probably won't notice any of those issues. It's just someone like me who's played hundreds and hundreds of hours, and you pick up on this stuff and you think, hey, why don't I have the option to do this? Right? And it's like, well, that's dumb. This game lacks content, and they could have had a bit more if they just open up some options. But yeah, what really just bothered me more was that they just never added extra match types. They just never added any. They didn't even add an option to change the opponents in Casino Battle Royale. Career wrestlers don't show up there. The community wrestlers do. And I actually like the community wrestlers, but you can't edit them at all. You can't get rid of them. Even though they're just, career wrestlers. And quite frankly, again, a lack of quality assurance. Like, I know they got the first wave was actual wrestlers to make career wrestlers, and the second wave was quite cool because it had content creators making them, but it feels like some of them half-assed it. Or they just did a very basic job. Like, sorry to Den Cops, right? But his Chris Angel core is fucking dog shit. I can make a better creator wrestler of himself than he can. And like, he forgot to do stuff. Like, he has like pizza as his weapon of choice for some reason. Some of them just don't have any pyro in the entrances. There's just a lot of weird stuff, and you can't customize it all. But again, it's relatively harmless. Because hey, they don't take up core slots. You basically get 10 extra wrestlers. You can treat them as jobbers. And I like wrestling games having essentially OCs, and these are basically them. Again, it's not really new content because they're just made from creator wrestler. But I use them in my universe, so I add it to the roster total, right? Like, you have however many on the base roster, you have up to 100 creator wrestlers, you have 10 community wrestlers. You can get a good amount of stuff going on there. It's just if you want to put up with fucking creator wrestler. The base roster is quite good, actually, with the DLC. It had a lot of essential names and just a good amount of quantity in general. Like, 16 is a good amount. Like, it is enough. It is plenty for this game. Pales in comparison to, like, any 2K game, of course, from the past so many years. I think the amount's bigger than, like, 2K15, maybe? And even though I'm not sure about that, but it's a good enough selection. I don't think the roster is an issue, at least not after DLC. That's one thing the DLC resolved, in my opinion. I don't really have any quarrels with the roster. I think it's cool. And they're creatively, although limited, because of the simplistic art style, you can actually, if you do have the parts to decently replicate a wrestler, they blend in rather well. And this is probably a hot take, but I don't actually like the modern 2K creation suite, which objectively a great creation suite. It's just I never like the photo scan stuff because I feel it's noticeable compared to like official face scan stuff. But with the more cartoonish graphics, I mean, it's not even really cartoony, but it's that's realistic, right? That becomes less an issue for me. And that's just why I like doing SVR calls. And again, it's a limited system, but that's why I sort of put up with the creators in this game personally, because I do think they you can do a lot of passable ones. A lot of ones I've done, I'm stretching, I'm reaching hard. But yeah, as for the match rights section, the match rights there are good. I actually really like seeing about it, and I normally don't like playing Royal Rumble style matches. It's quite good. Again, my problem is the limitations with you can only select one wrestler, you can't then select another, and also you can't select the participants or their entry number, order, whatever. And again, needlessly restrictive. It does harm it a lot, I feel. It even has like a team option, which is original, and I like that as well. It's just, again, a lack of control of the options. And it's like that where it feels like they didn't understand what people play wrestling games for. And it's like a lot of really diehard people are just going to play it to essentially, do their own universe and whatnot. I'm not doing it just do random exhibition matches, right? So it's like not having the freedom to customize that harms it a lot. Hell, when Tournament was announced, I fully expected it to just only let you pick one character. I'm surprised it actually gives you as much freedom as it does. That's what a lot of this game needed. As for singles, tag again, United, and I mean, in the game as a whole, the tag teams limited. It's my favorite tag team in any wrestling game. Like any favorite version of the match type. It is. I really like it. I feel like it's a controversial mode, but I think once the update, the finishes make them actually doable. I think once you figure it out, it is a lot of fun, and you can easily drag out long matches. It is the most fun I've had in any wrestling game, I think, is the Fight Forever tag matches. They are so rad. I think I'm just a big tag team wrestling guy in general, especially in the games. I think because you can just do longer, more dramatic matches with the extra bodies. So I've always been cool with that. I think this game has a pretty good tag mode. But yeah, 9 tornado tag, done. I've talked on the channel several times about the Road to Elite match types that just were never added. There's even a fucking gauntlet mode. And then for DLC, they advertise a gauntlet mode in the description of the Beat the Elite mode, which isn't a gauntlet mode, even though the game has a gauntlet system where people get eliminated and more people come in. They don't use it. All Beat the Elite is you play 10 matches in a row. They claim, this is another thing they claim it's a gauntlet where opponents get harder. And I've never seen that. I've never seen the AI change at all. You have the options for, easy, normal, hard, and elite, right? And they just sort of stay there. And there's no damage retention. It is just 10 matches in a row with the opponents just being randomized. And you get a few shitty rolls. The worst DLC in any wrestling game. Specifically to beat the Elite. The rest of the DLC in the game is good. Even if it's overpriced, so like the content in the other packs is worthwhile. Beat the Elite is just a nothing burger. It is garbage. They could have added an actual gauntlet match type, and it would have done so much better. Why they do an MK style tower thing and not even have the AI get more difficult? Fucking stupid. What a waste. Free waiting for it. Also, no false KMA, lights out options, no elimination. Nothing like that. Very basic stuff. Road to Elite already does some of it. Ladder matches as well, only singles. which I like ladder matches. I think there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the ladders, even though they sort of restrict you to only being able to place ladders in the corners in the middle of the ring, weirdly enough. I do like them. There's a lot of interactivity with them. Matches can end really quick, though. You can very much prolong a ladder match and do some crazy spots with the AI. They wild out. They jump off the ladder more times than I'd expect. Which can actually make it hard to do some spots. Like it's hard to fight at the top of the ladder because they'll just fucking jump on you. So I like the ladder match type, but it's definitely flawed. I mean, you know how buggy the ladders can be, I'm sure, which I mean, they patched a lot of it. But yeah, I mean, taking bumps on the ladder is cool, even though you instantly get up off the ladder once you land on it, weirdly. Like, you recover fast and landing on a normal thing, which I actually like anyway, because you get some cool moments in. So I do like the ladder match type, but it is a bit of a weird one. And again, because I had 3-way, 4-way options, I think it should have been harder to take down the chip. They should have at least had a slider to have, more health, or, the momentum feels slower, or, it's harder to get the chip in the ladder match. So you can have these longer matches. Hell, I mean, you lose health too quickly in the singles match, in my opinion. And tag team, like any multi-person matches, you lose it twice as fast. It is insane. You can end 3-way and 4-way matches in like under a minute. You can do it for singles matches even, but like regularly you can just end 3 or 4 matches with ease. The only thing stopping it is, other wrestlers being able to break things up and hoping the momentum system doesn't fuck you over for once. Because again, you can prolong every match type. It's just a pain, and it relies on RNG sometimes. The more you play it, the more you find ways to essentially drag out matches, manage your momentum, and get cool spots. Like something I feel like you can do. If you keep the momentum balanced for you and your opponent, you can both get to like the special state. If you immediately get into the special state, eat a finisher, you can just fucking kick out that shit at one, and it's rad. And like, there's some real cool stuff in this game you can do, but you've got to fucking tinker around and essentially just make your own fun because of how restrictive the game is, which is a shame. And by should I just mean with how fast matches end. Because in terms of the actual core gameplay, again, you've got a lot of freedom to do a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of dives, a lot of interactables, a lot of weapons, just a lot of cool moves and shit. It is a near flawless gameplay. It's just the pin stuff and match criteria, and again the lack of match types. Experimental deathmatch is also rad. I feel I should have been a regular option, just get out the ring. Again, needlessly restricted. You can literally throw someone out the ring anyway. So just let me dive on them. Or, which would be more realistic anyway. It would be more historically accurate if the top side of ropes didn't have barbed wire, so you could just freely exit. Stuff like that feels like a waste. Another thing, Stadium Stampede. That's an offline mode. You can have it at least connect to the internet, and then even when there's no one playing, which is 99% of the time, probably more than that statistic, if you stay in matchmaking for 3 minutes, it gives you a bot lobby. The bots are pretty daft though, but you can at least play it now. It's playable now without other players, but you still need online for it, which I think is dumb, because really, even though it's obviously a very exaggerated, comical mode, it is a match type. Like, enough's gone into it that I'd classify as its own match type. It's just, they decided to turn into a battle royale. Like, imagine that was just a regular match type where you can just wrestle normally around the stadium. That would have been rad. Hell, I don't know how they made that possible, where you can have like up to 30 players in that match. But in normal matches, you can't do trios. clearly. Like, you can't have more than 4 people in this game. That seemed like a limitation. But at the same time, Peach says, oh, you can have 30 people. So, I don't know why there's even a trios option, because I feel like that would be possible. Really. Again, it feels like there's a waste of stuff. I mean, I don't think like championships, they never added any more. Even though there's a lot of extra belts. I mean, I can't do trios, obviously, because it's not a game, but international title, whatever the fucking, the C2 one is, there's a few ones you can do, right? Or update the belts, give more belt options. Because that's the cool in this game, you can get them out the ring and stuff. That's rad. You can have like multi-championship entrances. It's the same one, but like you can have like up to like 5 belts at once. The women can hold any championship they want. I think they should let the men be able to hold a TBS championship. But in case you wanted to like turn out into just another mid-card belt, like the TNT championship, just be another one like that. Obviously, I get what the women's world championship is for women only. Like, there's scenarios where they don't restrict stuff, and others where they just do, and I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Anything else? Oh, mini games. They're fun. Pretty much a waste of time, really. I mean, I've actually used my universe for a few scenarios, and I think that's fun to find a way to work them in. Like, you know, the fucking Teen Taz, the boys have gone to the fucking stadium, they're playing baseball, right? Like, that's something you can do in your own universe, right? Again, you can have a lot of fun doing your own exhibition with this. You know, I just use a fucking Google Doc to keep track of storylines and stuff, and it's rad. It is just the fucking... It is just the gamer geek version of fucking playing with wrestling action figures. And you can do it in this game. It's just much harder to do than almost any other wrestling game with the restricted bullshit in the game. But you can do it. And I've had a lot of fun with it because the core game is so fucking fun. But it does fall short on just so many other areas. I do think it's overhated, though. I think a lot of people would label the game as unplayable. I've seen recent, which is insane. And I feel like that is just tribalism. Because, you know, the WWE versus AEW shit, which I couldn't give less of a toss about, right? Just fucking enjoy wrestling, you losers. I think that actually bleeds into the video games, which is extra sad. Because, I mean, 5 Hours literally helped 2K. A lot of 2K24's editions 100% came from inspiration they got from Fight Forever. Like the New Blood. Like adding some extra weapons, right? That comes because of Fight Forever. I'm 99% certain. But yeah, I think a lot of people are just, you know, 2K fanboys, whatever, and they go, oh, this is unplayable. And it's like, you definitely just didn't play the game then. And now, or you didn't give it a proper chance, because I know it was free. So I know a lot of people just played one match and gone, oh, this is shit. Because they haven't spent money on it, so they're not trying to enjoy it. I will say, I don't think it's very beginner friendly for like a wrestling game. It's probably the hardest I found to get into one, because the controls are so different. I think the default control scheme is dog shit, by the way. I can't remember what it is, but I changed it day one I got the game, and my control scheme is so much better. But I can see that being why a lot of people would think, oh, this game's bad initially, because they're just not used to controls. I think that's fair. I think the whole them promoting that, oh, when video games were pick up and play, and they then proceeded to make a wrestling game less pick up and play than any wrestling game I've touched in like the past fucking 15 years of wrestling games I've owned. I find that quite funny. Again, it's not much of a criticism. Because again, you can change the controls completely. I mean, some stuff is still tied to the same button, and that can be a hassle. But I think there's a decent amount of control customization there. But that's the only reason I think people think it's unplayable, because this is a fucking great game. And I remember people saying that, like, it's such a fun game. Again, the issue was just there wasn't enough content. People wanted to get match types and stuff. There's extra content. It never really got that. It got extra content of arenas, the attire parts, which that's another thing. Attire parts are cool. The textures of DLC, there's like over 100 now. A lot of options there. You know, like random example, Abaddon has just so many fucking combinations, so many options for weird stuff you can give it. You know, the skin changing textures can work for certain stuff. Can you treat it like face paint? Normally it doesn't work though. It's just overly silly. The attire texture is very useful though, even though it covering every bit of clothing with the same texture can look daft more times than not. But it's a good bit of attire customization. I feel like it's probably more effort than just letting us recolor stuff. That's weird. Another thing, purple Britt Baker attire is like a recolor thing. That's something that just was never properly added. I have access to it because it would just glitch. It would just glitch into presets before they fix presets. So I have access to it. That's another thing that was just in the game and never properly added. Another thing is FTR. Their actual in-game render icons, you can tell they're wearing a different attire. That's also just, that's not even in files. I don't know what the fuck happened to that. But yeah, that's nowhere to be found. Would have been nice for DLC and extra attires. Again, a lot of missing stuff there. I wish there were more attires though. Again, they clearly favour the textures because they're easier and more universally applicable. But it would be nice to get another wave of attires, because I know like the same Stampede just gave a bunch away for free, and that was a really good batch. That had a lot of useful stuff. I mean, that same Stampede update was like the only real free content update that mattered, which is quite funny. But yeah, I think that's the last thing I want to cover. I think that is about everything. And I haven't touched on certain like Create Arena, which I think is good, especially the DLC arenas added some good options. DLC arenas are cool, by the way. I actually like the Horn Forest one. I like the say stuff like that. Hell, the Horn Forest one feels like its own match type. I will say that's the one that feels like its own match type in a way. That feels like a gimmick match, and you got interactive zombie hand and stuff. It is ridiculous. I don't know why they bothered adding it, because that clearly takes more work than just adding however many pay-per-views in real life they're just on this game, or just Collision. There's not Collision. You know, loading screens added a bunch of shots from Collision. I mean, they never added it, which is weird. Even I thought we'd get Collision at least, but no, we got two very random arenas, which, you know, is cool to have them. I think they get extra interactive stuff. Another thing, I do wish Create Arena at least added the ability to change a venue, because all the DLC arenas do change the venue. Even the Modern Dynamite one changes like the LED boards like around the arena to not be the black and gold ones. Because I have my own ones, because I made custom ones for Dynamite and Rampage because of extra parts, and I just made some cool arenas there. But yeah, the nameplate as well does change in Modern Dynamite, but yeah, you can't change that stuff. So again, another unfortunate restriction that, I mean, in fairness, they probably didn't think of, because different venues and whatnot just weren't a thing until DLC. And that might require like a whole Creation Suite overhaul to properly implement them. I do like Creating Arena. I'm surprised it's in this game. It's bare bones. It's particularly difficult to do anything when you don't have logos. I think they really should have had more logos of just their official arenas. Just add it as parts. Don't need to do like sets and stuff. Don't need to do like proper graphic stuff. Just slap the PNG of like a arena logo for me to stick on the entrance video. Right? Like, I feel like they could have done that for stuff like All In or Forbidden Door, you know, those types of shows. They could have done that. Collision at the least. But they didn't, which is a shame. Again, there's some wasted potential there, but I mean, the fact it has Korean reading anyway is quite surprising how limited the Creation Suite is in general. So I'm actually quite impressed it's there at all. And I think there's a lot of decent, cool stuff with it. So I think it's decent. I use it a lot. I think it has enough customization to get some use out and make your own custom pay-per-views or whatever. I like it. Again, the lack of any logo stuff, customization with that is its main hindrance. Or just the option to properly color stuff. Like most, a lot of textures, half of them are just like their generic textures are even in the 2K games, but you can't even change the color. Like, okay. Again, very bare bones. But I do appreciate it being there. Create a team that you can't make factions, even though there's 2 default factions with Death Triangle and Dark Order, and then you can't edit those 2 default factions. That's a dumb restriction. Not a fan. But yeah, the tag, there's not many tag motions, weirdly, which is unfortunate. But again, you have the same entrance customization with the props and stuff. And like when you're selecting on the character selection, there's a teams tab, so I think that's decent. But yeah, that really is about it. I mean, I haven't sometimes I haven't really talked about Road. I think it's a fine career mode, but they want you to replay it over and over again. It's just not that fun on the second time around. Let alone like the 20th. I've already played it that many times now. It's gone over an hour. But yeah, I think this is my last ramble, just general thoughts from me, minimal editing, just raw thoughts being spewed out onto a video. Over a year in. I'd say a year in, but we're months over. I will say it lasted 13 months for the content, and it was pretty consistent with the monthly DLC drops for the most part, so I appreciate that. I wish we had more, because again, I feel like you could update this game to just fix its main issues, except Creation Suite. That would sort of need a new game overhaul to probably have the options people really want. All they can really do is just add more like clove parts, which they have done a decent job at, but again, it's not really enough. So I like stuff like match types you could add, or just match rules. Very simple stuff, or like health sliders, that sort of stuff. You could just update in, and of course you do DLC. But objectively speaking, for their own success, they'd just be better off doing a new game, because this game's been review bombed and it's just old anyway. I will commend them for actually supporting it for a decent time. I'm pretty sure they stated years plural before, but I think that's just unrealistic anyway. But it is a shame. Again, we still haven't heard confirmation that they're done, but we've heard nothing for this month, and we would get monthly news. All the AEW Games channels, social medias do now is post that Adam Cole and Evil Uno podcast. I'm like, I love you lads, but like, why is that on the main fucking channel? I don't get it. Also, they're on like their 3rd mobile game now, and it seems like they're more focused on doing stuff for that. Even though who plays them? Who plays those games? Who plays Fight Forever? So, touche there. Again, I wish there was more, but for what there is, I like the game. I've gotten my money's worth. I will keep playing it for however long. I don't know when I'll stop. I might not even stop, really, because I mean, my main games had this, Wrestling Empire, and then like other WWE game series. It's like the SVR 08 and 10 are like my favorites there. Those are like the main 3 there, my main 3 choices. So because it's such a distinct wrestling game, it's always going to be in my wrestling games that I'm more likely to play. So I'll probably play a lot more of this. I don't plan to stop. But in terms of content, there's really not much to cover. But yeah, I've had fun with it. You know, I think it's worth a try. The DLC is more affordable now as well. I think it's worth a try. I haven't got it yet. Because there's enough now. If you play wrestling games and you sort of like me, you sort of just make up stories and then you do the matches. You don't need a universe mode or whatever to fucking control that for you. Then you'll make your own fun with the game, right? You'll get your money's worth. If not, then yeah, you don't really have anything to do here. You have a lot of wrestlers, you have a lot of options there, but no modes to really experience it in, right? But yeah, I like the game. I think it's overhated. At the same time, a good chunk of the criticism, pretty much most of the criticism, is 100% valid, and I think objectively speaking it is. Like, I go and defend a lot of stuff, and I'm, again, 1,100 hours, I'm probably one of the game's biggest fans. You know, I went from being very critical of the game build to release because I immediately picked up on the flaws with the game. You know, I was criticising lack of match types before the game released, right? I knew this had lack of content. So, yeah, when I actually got the game, I was pleasantly surprised. I've gotten more of it than I expected I would. Meanwhile, other people who overhyped the game in the build to release, they're now incredibly disappointed, and now they're more critical than I am now. So it's funny how stuff changed. I think Mortal Kombat 12 is like the exact same thing as well, funnily enough. Because I was harsh on that game until I got it. I mean, I still am harsh on it because it does a lot wrong. This game does too. I suppose, you know, in the video here, Mortal Kombat stuff, I'll keep doing the 3-hour content. It gets views. It gets views. It's easy to do. Because I do that stuff off my laptop and I don't really have a mic, the audio is already quite quiet. It's at a volume now. I've got it to a volume now where you turn your sound up and then it's loud enough, but you have to turn it louder than you probably would have most videos to get normal audio. And I know I could just change it. I know, like, the volume I have my laptop on, like the actual like volume, like out of 100%, that affects the actual recording, and I can double it with an editor, but not much more than that. But at the same time, I have it on like 40 sometimes, and even that's like quite loud for me. So yeah, I don't really fucking blasting Deception gameplay while I'm recording videos. I'm not good in that. I don't have headphones. I don't have a mic, so I can't do commentary while playing those videos. Or I could, but it would just, I think the audio would just be a fucking mess. Like, it's already bad enough me talking through the phone speaker, right? This is not quality content, right? This is just my opinion dump video, and I've gone way too long. So that's it. That is AEW Fight Forever. Good game. I hope it gets a sequel. You know, it'll sting a bit because I'm going to lose a lot of talent, like Cody, like Punk. Lucha Bros are probably going to. Ricky Starks. A lot of names will go. But I mean, the roster itself will probably be bigger anyway. But that's an unfortunate part. But with wrestling games, you always end up losing some content with the next game. But it is what it is. I hope it's the improvements. At the moment, I'm content with this game. I like it a lot. It's got its issues. Again, I still would. I'd love a final update that would add some fucking sliders or some match rule stuff, but I don't expect anything. So yeah, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. More Mortal Kombat stuff soon. I don't know what other content I'll do, because this was basically my secondary thing I covered news of. Once Mario Kart finished up all its stuff, at least until the next game comes. So again, there's sort of not really content to do for those games. So I don't know what I'll do. Again, the focus will just primarily be on Mortal Kombat 3DS, really. But I'll obviously do whatever I want, really. But that is the obvious focus of the channel right now. So yeah, see ya.